Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and thanks a lot for coming by the channel to spend some time with me watching the video. Always appreciate that. And guys, today we're going to be talking about the necessity of escaping from reality through fishing. This is a topic that I don't think it gets talked enough about. In my opinion, it's probably at the top of the list of the most valuable thing in bass fishing that a lot of people just don't give it enough credit, especially some of the younger generation. So I sort of want to give you guys my opinion on that, and maybe it'll give you all a different perspective. Next time you're on the water, it might make your experience out there a little bit richer. Also, guys, before we get started, I just want to give everybody a big thank you out there, because you guys hear me talk about this a little bit every day, but I know how busy everybody is. I know everybody's got a limited amount of time to watch videos, and I really appreciate you guys, thinking enough about the channel to come by and watch the videos, and you guys support the channel through using all the links in the description. I'm very, very appreciative of that. I never take that for granted. I just want you guys to know that every single video, I appreciate that. So thanks a lot. Okay, guys, one of the things about it, it's like, I don't care what your viewpoint is, any viewpoints you have on life. I don't care if it's your belief system, if it's your political affiliation, your cultural affiliation, anything that you have in life out there. I think everybody can agree that we all need an escape once in a while. I mean, life can get overwhelming, especially in today's society. The life now is so much more complicated than it was even 30 years ago. I mean, 30 years ago, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have cell phones. It was so simple. And then if you go back another 30 years, back like in the 60s and 70s when I was growing up, it was even more simple. We only had 3 TV channels, and that was it. And in doing that, it's like you didn't have to have the escape and to be able to sort of disengage a little bit like you do now. But in the society we have today, we've got this 24/7 news cycle, and it's this news cycle is always some type of breaking news or news alert or whatever like this. Keeps everybody on edge. The whole what the internet has done to society, the growing population, traffic getting heavier every single year out there. We need an escape. Every single person out there needs to, just sort of, reset everything and escape back to the purity of nature, which fishing provides. And one of the things that I want to encourage here and talk a little bit about is how when you go fishing out there, one of the most primary things that you should focus on when you are fishing is that sort of that escape from reality a little bit. I don't want to say reality, because fishing is a true reality. The world we live in, for the most part, is sort of this artificial reality. But when you get out in nature and on the water, which is an aspect of nature, everything just becomes a lot more, slows down, a lot more pure, a lot more healing, and a lot more therapeutic. And the biggest value, it's like when I look at fishing, for everything that it provides out there, and especially in tournament fishing, because tournament fishing adds a little bit deeper layer to what fishing provides. But out of everything that fishing provides, as far as the joy and the excitement and the magic and the mystery, there is a healing and a therapeutic aspect of bass fishing that cannot be denied when it's done in this pure form. That's one of the reasons that I hate live scope and forward facing sonar technology, is because you don't go to the lake to continue to engage in artificial stimulation of your brain, which live scope and forward facing sonar is. You go to the lake to try to disengage and get away from that. It's like all of the most memorable times that I have ever had in bass fishing, the times that have stayed with me, it's those times where I've been on the water and I've been fishing in areas where I don't see any people, I don't see any houses, I don't see any sign of civilization. I'm flipping and pitching or throwing, the baits shallow on visible targets where I can turn off my electronics, and I get out there and it's just me and the fish and the sounds of nature when you're out there. That is powerful. That is pure, raw, primal power when you're immersed in that type of environment, because that even though that's a little bit more sterile than being purely immersed in nature and purely immersed in the environment, it still gives you that connection to that. Now, let me give you a couple different aspects of what we're talking about here. It's like one way that I can show you how important this is, and I've talked about this a little bit in the past. It's like, why do you think that parks are so popular, even in the cities? It's like, when you go to any type of metropolitan area, there's usually, most big cities always have a nice park complex. And there's always a lot of people in the parks. They gravitate to those parks because it offers some semblance of a connection to nature, even though it is sterilized a little bit. On the other end of the spectrum, the only way that, in my opinion, that you can truly appreciate the purity of nature and that, the escape that nature provides is to put yourself in a wilderness survival situation where you're taken away from any type of umbilical cord to society, where you're making your fires out of a bow drill fire, you're knapping your tools out of flint or whatever stone is available, you're using, you're making cordage out of natural materials like plants or sinew or whatever like that. That's one at the extreme. That really immerses you in it. But the thing that fishing does is it gives you that bridge, even though it's not perfect. And when you look at it like that, and when you go fishing, and instead of focusing on just getting out there and jerking lips and having your head glued to an electronic screen, if you get out there and include fishing as only the actual art of casting and trying to catch a fish is only a small part of it, but everything else, you're allowing your whole senses to emerge and be immersed in nature. That is when that's the power point of fishing that a lot of people don't get. Because if you do that, if you go out there into nature, and if you're aware of all the sights and the sounds and the presence and just the flow and the cycle of life and everything around you, all the vibrancy, the squirrels on the bank, the crawdad holes on the bank, just the sounds of nature, the leaves rustling, the sunlight, the wind in your face, the rain in your face, all of the elements in nature. If you bring that into your awareness, your body responds to that on a cellular level, and it will heal the cells in your body. It's like the more you immerse yourself in nature and appreciate that and have a sense of gratitude for that, your body begins to heal and repair itself like it can't in any other way. And that's one of the things out there. It's like the only way that you can really appreciate the purity of nature is being in it and spending time in it. That's why a lot of the people that are not big conservationists or not big environmentalists, most of them don't spend much time outside. The more time that you spend outside and on the water, and if you look at it from the correct perspective, that's when you really gain a reverence and an appreciation, and for wanting to protect that environment that's out there. That's one of the reasons you hear me talk a lot about environmental issues, because one of the big things about that, aside from just the obvious of it's the right thing to do, is it's medicine. It's like therapy to be out there. And one of the common threads that I have seen fishing with people from all over the world, and I fished all over the world, and I fished with people all over the world. I fished with people of all different backgrounds, and there's a common bond when people are out on the water, removed from any type of civilization, that they all respond to. That's the first thing they do. It's like I've been on so many fishing trips with people, whether it be co-anglers or on the water lessons or just fishing with friends or whatever, and inevitably it's like fishing sort of takes a back seat a little bit just to being out there, especially on nice days. So the point of the video, guys, is don't overlook the value of that. It's like in my opinion, there's nothing more valuable than that. There's nothing that you can take away. There's nothing that you can go to the lake and come back and have more of a deeper, longer lasting appreciation than having that connection and that return to nature a little bit, because that's what we're from. It's like, we, up until just a few hundred years ago, we were living out in that all the time. We were living out in primitive shelters, and immersed in nature every single day. The only light and warmth we had were from the fires that we built, with natural materials. It's only been the last couple of years that we have transformed our species into some type of a sterile, civilized, insulated, form of life on this planet that is so connected to the umbilical cord of comforts that we've created that you just sort of lose that connection a little bit. And the point is don't ever lose that connection. Keep fishing the way it is. Keep it raw. Keep it primal. Keep it magic and mysterious out there. And the more that you gravitate towards technology and electronics in your fishing, the more you rob yourself from that intrinsic value, and the more that you take those healing properties away from you. If you go out there and you're absorbed in your electronics, you are not capitalizing on that healing property that fishing, provides. So maybe just, reevaluate your point on that next time you're out there, and I think it might make for a little bit more fun experience. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys.